The year is 2142. Somewhere in space, a Weyland-Yutani drone intercepts the drifting wreckage of the spaceship USCSS Nostromo. Later, an investigation begins, conducted by masked specialists. They open the object, inside which is a laboratory housing a curled-up xenomorph in the fetal position. Meanwhile, in the star colony Jackson Star, a young woman, Rain Carradine, wakes up to the sound of an alarm calling her to work in the mine. During breakfast, her adoptive brother Andy joins her, trying to cheer her up, hoping that things will work out. He wants to earn money to pay for the flight to Ivica, but Rain asks him to wait while she heads to the colony office. Rain has met the required quota in hopes that she can leave, especially since her parents passed away long ago, and there's nothing keeping her on the star. However, against the law, the office worker denies her resignation and informs her that the quota has been increased. Just then, Rain sees a gang of juvenile thugs beating up her brother. She rushes to defend him. It becomes clear that Andy is a synthetic human. Rain resets him and he regains consciousness. At this time, her ex-boyfriend Tyler calls, asking Rain to come and discuss a profitable deal. Although the girl fears some kind of scheme, she heads to the outskirts of the town where the space tug Corbelan is parked. Nearby, Tyler's cousin Bjorn and his girlfriend Navarro are working on the tug. Rain and Andy board the ship, where they are warmly greeted by Tyler's sister Kay. Rain is told that yesterday they accidentally discovered an abandoned spaceship orbiting the planet. They have long completed their required quotas, but the planet's administration won't let them leave. So the young people decided to take their tug to the derelict ship, hoping to find cryochambers that would allow them to escape to Ivica, a planet with better living conditions. They invited Rain because she has Andy, and only a synthetic can interact with the ship's computer systems. Tyler reminds her that if she refuses, she will rot in the colony for the rest of her life. Rain agrees. The group flies on the mining transport to the abandoned spaceship. For some reason, Bjorn constantly mocks Andy, which Rain dislikes, but the synthetic remains friendly and pays no attention to him. The tug rises above the planet, and Rain sees the sun for the first time. Soon, the space object appears before them, and they realize that it's more of a decommissioned outpost stuck in orbit. However, it's also revealed that the station is rapidly falling toward the planet's rings, and in 36 hours, the ship will collide with them. Rain asks Andy to reconsider before he boards the ship, but the synthetic has only one directive, written by the girl's father, to do everything for her. The tug docks with the station, and Andy's signal easily opens the airlock. Tyler, Bjorn, and Andy board the station. Following the scanner's directions, the group heads to the capsules. The systems are malfunctioning, gravity is unstable, but the ship's motherboard powers up, activating the oxygen supply. Finally, Tyler reaches the capsules, where it turns out that although they are intact, there isn't enough cryofuel for the flight to Ivica. However, the guys discover that there is another cryochamber on board, which, judging by its size, should contain plenty of fuel. They head toward it. Meanwhile, Rain, puzzled by Bjorn's hostility toward Andy, learns that during an accident in the mine, one of the synthetics left Bjorn's injured mother behind. Since then, he has hated androids. Meanwhile, Navarro goes to check the capsules, and Kay confesses to Rain that she is pregnant. The station's system greets the humans, informing them that the object is divided into two sections, Romulus and Remus. Bjorn then reveals to Andy the truth. He is only needed at the initial stage, after which they will leave him behind to die. Rain overhears this confession and cries because she didn't have the courage to tell her brother the truth. The guys continue to explore the station, surprised that it doesn't look decommissioned, more like it was simply abandoned. Bjorn finds an electric whip and teases Andy again, but the synthetic saves him from falling into a large hole in the floor, where they see half the body of the ship's synthetic. Soon, the guys find a large, still-functioning cryochamber and extract fuel from it, accidentally activating automatic isolation. For some reason, the lockdown doesn't respond to Andy's commands, suggesting that the room is somehow dangerous inside. Rain and Navarro board the ship to save the men. Rain removes the chip from the damaged android to plug it into Andy's brain, hoping it will give him full control over the station. While she works, Navarro marvels at the interesting technical features. Suddenly, the synthetic grabs Rain by the hand, and only Navarro's help saves her. They find the guys and give the chip to Tyler, who installs it into Andy. The synthetic freezes as he reboots. During this time, he glimpses strange creatures seated inside the ship. Bjorn, meanwhile, also discovers strange bio-objects in a nearby, half-flooded chamber. However, he doesn't have time to figure out what they are, as he is attacked by invisible creatures in the water. Tyler tries to help his friend, but is also attacked by a facehugger. Andy reboots and saves Bjorn. The guys run, but the face-huggers easily break through the doors, and one of the creatures attaches itself to Navarro's face. Suddenly, Andy begins explaining the scientific nature of the creature's actions, surprising the others. Rain realizes that it's the chip, but Andy suddenly refuses to obey her. The chip doesn't give him full access to the station, fixing bugs in his programming, but also canceling his mission to serve Rain. To save Navarro, Andy activates the damaged android, Rook, a scientist from the station. Rook informs the group that the station's personnel were all killed by these creatures and that Navarro cannot be saved. The parasite has implanted a seed in her, which will quickly merge with her DNA, allowing the xenomorph to grow. Rook shows them one such specimen preserved in the lab and explains that humans first encountered this species 20 years ago. Only one woman survived, managing to throw the monster into the airlock. When the company learned about this, they started searching for it. They found it, believing that space had killed the xenomorph. However, it turned out that the organism was merely asleep. Rain suggests freezing the parasite's tail with cryofuel. When this works and Navarro regains consciousness, Rook warns Andy that the facehugger likely only finished its mission and advises against allowing Navarro back on the tug. Despite this, Bjorn takes Navarro into the Corbalon, leaving Andy, Tyler, and Rain behind. They detach the tug, where Kay wakes up, confused about what's happening. But suddenly, Navarro starts feeling unwell. Kay tries to help, but a xenomorph bursts from Navarro's chest, killing her. The Corbalon crashes into the hangar of the Romulus, disturbing the station's orbit, setting it on an inevitable collision course with Jackson's planetary rings. Rain, Andy, and Tyler rush to the hangar to save their friends and attempt to escape on the tug. Meanwhile, Rook makes his way to the command center and contacts the ship's motherboard. As Tyler and Rain navigate through the station, they encounter more creatures swarming the ship's corridors. Andy discovers that the facehuggers can't see but can detect human body heat, meaning that to pass by them undetected, they must raise the air temperature to 36.6 degrees Celsius and remain very quiet. The pair follows through with this plan, slowly making their way toward the hangar, while Kay escapes the Corbalon. In one of the corridors, she runs into Bjorn. Together, they attempt to flee the Corbalon, but the passage is webbed with xenomorph cocoons, indicating the creatures are undergoing metamorphosis into their adult forms. Bjorn tries to destroy one of them with an electric whip, and at first it seems to work. Kay tries to drag him away, but Bjorn becomes fascinated by the creature's blood, which effortlessly burns through metal barriers. Suddenly, the xenomorph sprays him with acid, and Bjorn dies, his body disintegrating from the corrosive blood. Kay reaches the door but can't open it. Tyler and Rain try to help her when they are attacked by facehuggers. They flee, and Andy seals the doors behind them, completely cutting Kay off from escape. Despite Tyler's pleas, Andy refuses to open the hangar door where Kay is trapped. The group watches helplessly as the xenomorph attacks Kay and drags her into the depths of the station. After the initial shock, Rain realizes that Andy now has a new directive: to act in the best interest of the company. She understands that they need to remove the chip. The synthetic orders everyone to leave, explaining that he will help them escape and then return to Jackson. Following his new mission, Andy leads the pair to the laboratory, where Rook explains that the station discovered a unique substance intended to help humanity evolve into perfect beings capable of colonizing the entire universe. The Prometheus 5 died for this purpose, and it's considered a divine gift to humanity. The substance contains a genome responsible for the xenomorph's ability to control its metabolism, which can be rewritten into human DNA through blood, allowing humanity to evolve instantly. Andy finds a capsule of black liquid, as his mission now is to deliver the sample to the colony. He arms the pair, hoping they won't need to use it, as the xenomorph's acidic blood can easily burn through the ship's hull. The group makes their way to the tug, discovering a massive incubator of creatures along the way. Suddenly, Tyler hears Kay's voice and rushes to help. Rain is forced to follow him. Soon they find Kay, still alive but cocooned by the xenomorph. They free her. Andy suggests injecting the black liquid into Kay, but Rain opposes the idea. She proposes putting Kay into a cryochamber so that Earth's doctors can save her. Just then, a xenomorph attacks them and drags Tyler away. Andy freezes, and Rain is left to drag Kay to the lift and seal the doors behind them. Rain catches Andy's farewell glance and realizes she can't leave him behind. She sends Kay to the ship, explaining how to handle the sample capsule, and goes back for Andy, removing the extra chip from his brain and restoring him to his original behavior. But then the creatures begin to activate. Rain asks Rook to open the doors, but he refuses to risk the station. Andy's access codes are also blocked. Meanwhile, Kay reaches the Corbalon, where she hears Rook's call to transfer control to him so he can bring her to the colony. She injects herself with the black liquid, believing it will heal her wounds and protect her unborn child. Rain temporarily disables the artificial gravity on the ship to shoot down the attacking xenomorphs. She and Andy make it to the lift toward the Corbelan, dodging the flying splatters of acidic blood. But when gravity is restored, Rain loses her weapon and falls into the elevator shaft, where a xenomorph intercepts her. At the same time, the acidic blood begins burning through the ship's metal, and Andy can no longer hold the lift, which falls, smashing the xenomorph and leaving Rain clinging to the shaft's wall. However, a new monster soon appears, but it's killed by Andy, who arrives with a new weapon. They hear a warning about the inevitable collision and rush to the tug, which comes under the control of the mothership just before the station crashes into the rings, destroying it along with Rook. Rain stops the Corbelan and informs Andy that their plans have changed. They're heading to Ivaga. Suddenly, alarming signals come from Kay's capsule. Rain runs to it and finds that Kay is giving birth to an egg, from which a mutant xenomorph hatches. Rain ejects it into a cargo capsule, arms herself, and descends to finish off the creature, but it has already grown and broken free, using Kay's body as sustenance. Rain hears Kay's screams and rushes to help, only to find Andy wounded by the monster. She barely manages to witness the xenomorph kill Kay and escapes into the transition chamber, putting on a spacesuit. She lures the xenomorph into the cargo hold, and as the tug lands on the surface of the ring, she ejects it into space, holding onto a cable. However, the xenomorph grabs her, almost smashing her helmet's visor. Nevertheless, Rain manages to break free and climb back aboard the ship. Later, Rain places Andy in one of the stasis chambers, and before going into cryosleep herself, contemplates their prospects upon arriving at Ivaga. The film is a worthy representative of the franchise, though not groundbreaking. Perhaps the director understood that it's better to give fans what they want rather than venture into dubious experiments. The result is a careful adaptation with solid cinematography, practical and computer effects, and 2 hours of suspense.